What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to sit down and talk to you about my piercings and tattoos, and also my regrets with my piercings and tattoos, because I actually do have some regrets and things that hopefully might be helpful or just entertaining to share with you guys about my decisions. Now, some of the piercings I'm going to be talking about, you guys might not even know that I had. I kind of just wanted to share my personal experience to hopefully just help someone out, because especially as I've gotten a little older and settled into having my tattoos and piercings, I have some things that I've learned. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Now, I think I'm gonna start with piercings just because I got piercings before I got tattoos, but just as like a little summary before we get into this video of everything that we'll be hitting. For piercings, we will be hitting ears, nose, and nipples. I think that's all the piercings I've had. And then for tattoos, I just have two tattoos, one here and one here. I'll show you both of them when we talk about the tattoos. Okay, so as for piercings, I started piercing myself when I was 5 years old. That's when I got my, let's just show off the ears. That's when I got my first holes. I feel like that's pretty normal. I don't have much to say about these other than I love them. I wear earrings probably more than any other jewelry. And I also have my second holes pierced, but I almost never ever wear jewelry in them. They honestly could have closed up, but I think they're probably not. They're just chilling, but I don't typically wear a little stud in them. And then lastly, I have, I think, 5. I used to have 6 piercings on this cartilage. One of them actually kind of not came out, but one time I was like taking out these earrings to clean them and I couldn't like get back in the one that was in the middle, so I could easily just get this re-pierced, but I just haven't because I'm fine with the 5. But as for ear piercings, I mean, I don't really have that much to say other than I love all of mine, and I don't regret any of them. I think I got these done when I was like 18 when I first moved out to college, and I always get compliments on it, so I have not regretted any of these piercings. One thing I will say about having all these on one ear is if you're gonna do it and you haven't done it, I recommend the side. If you are a side sleeper, which I am, I typically sleep on this side, I recommend getting them on the other side, because it is, even to this day, sometimes a little bit painful to like put a lot of weight on this ear because there's 5 or 6 earring backs back there. It'll probably just be more comfortable for the healing process and be more comfortable when you sleep. All right, the next piercing that I got, which I actually don't wear anymore, but I'll still talk about it pretty quickly, is my nose piercing. Now, what happened with my nose piercing? I think like I had a hoop in a couple years back. I think I wore it until like 2016. And then I think the hoop like fell out and I just never put in another hoop or another stud because I was kind of like indecisive. I was like, I don't know if I really want to put it back in. I kind of like having my plain nose again. So I feel very back and forth about my nose piercing. Even to this day, I'm like, I could put it back in. Like I could go to a piercing place and just have them put in a little stud or a tiny little hoop. But I don't know, I just haven't done it, and I'm kind of happy with not having it right now, but I wouldn't really mind if I still had it. So I got my nose piercing when I was, I think, 16 or 17, and I have a really old vlog of it. So for shits and giggles, I will link that up here. It was one of the first videos I ever did on my vlog channel. I did show the whole process of the piercing, and it was not that painful. It was, I just don't even remember the pain. I think you could watch it in that video, but I definitely didn't cry. I think I was just like, whatever, like it's not that bad. I don't remember. So that's that. And then lastly, I definitely wanted to talk about my nipple piercings. I think I've talked about it once or twice in a video, but obviously I'm not gonna like show you guys my nipples. But the decision to get those, I got those in 2016, and I do want to say before I start talking about them that I actually don't have them anymore, but I miss them and I will probably get them again, and I'll talk about that whole thing. It definitely was my most painful piercing. I mean, it that's such a sensitive area. And it's kind of random that I even got my nipples pierced because I never thought it was something that I was interested in. However, my sister had hers pierced at the time and they looked really, really good and she loved them. And also like a couple of our girlfriends had them pierced and I had seen them on people. And I had really tiny boobs. My boobs have gotten a little bit bigger thanks to like birth control, I think. But at this time, you know, 3-4 years ago, I had pretty tiny boobs and I kind of just thought it would be like a fun thing to do to make my boobs more like fun or make me more confident about them, I guess. So once I saw them on a couple different people and saw that they looked really cool, I was like, well, why not get mine done? I think it would be really fun, and it's one of those piercings that like nobody knows that you have it, but you see them, you know? So they're like just fun to have, to be a little like secret piercing. I feel like, you know, you don't have to like broadcast them to the world. So I got them and it was really painful. I didn't like vlog or film that experience. My friend went with me. I mean, I think I took some Advil before, but you know, you could put on like a numbing cream before you get them done. And I will say one thing that really helped the pain afterwards, because they were sore for probably around an hour or two after I got them pierced, and then they healed fantastically. They weren't sore for like a day or 2 or 3. For me, they were sore for like 1 or 2 hours. One thing that actually really helped me was smoking weed after I got mine done. I think I went over to my sister's apartment and I took like a bong rip or something, which I don't normally take bong rips. But at this time in my life, I would occasionally rip the bong when I was at my sister's apartment or something like that. So I took a hit and I like instantly felt the pain pretty much go away. It helped so much. So if any of you guys are thinking about getting your nips pierced, honestly, and you already like smoke, that was definitely helpful. Sneaky little tip for you. So I had my nip piercings for 2 years or something like that, and then, or maybe, what was it? Yeah, until 2018, which is when I wanted to change the jewelry. So the jewelry of a nipple piercing is basically like a bar, and then it has 2 balls, tiny little balls on the end that screw onto the bar so the bar doesn't slide out. I had really good ones put in when I got my nips pierced, and they were great, and I never had any infection or any pus or issues. Sorry if this is TMI, but this is just what you might want to know if you're curious about nipple piercings. If you're not, you can skip forward to the tattoo part because it will get a little bit, not graphic, but a little bit detailed. So mine were fine for like 2 years. They were great, and then sometime in 2017, 2018, I wanted to change my jewelry to these cute like pink and purple diamond, not diamond, but crystal studded balls that were on the end. So it's not that the jewelry was bad, it was just the bar was shorter than the bar that I had gotten put in to my original piercing. So the balls kind of hit the sides of my nipple more and it got irritated, and so they started getting a little bit pussy, a little bit irritated, and a little bit painful at some times. Now I could kind of like wash them in the shower, but it was scary for me to think about taking them out myself and putting them back in. So when I did originally change my jewelry, I went to a professional piercing place and had them do it for me. I changed my jewelry and it looked really pretty, and I probably rocked those for a few months, and then they were, like I said, just a little bit cheaper, a little bit shorter, and the balls ended up like falling off at some point. Basically, what happened for me that was a mistake and a regret was actually just changing my jewelry to cheaper jewelry and a shorter bar, because that's what made me start to get like pussy and infected and made them more painful, and eventually made me have to take them out. I haven't had them put back in since then, or like re-pierced. I would have to get them re-pierced, which I've heard is more painful the second time you would get some like your nipples pierced than the first time. So that makes me a little nervous, but I've been through it one time. I think it would, I do miss them. I loved having that piercing. I thought it was so fun. So I might go and get them again. I've been kind of back and forth about it for the last like year. Obviously I haven't rushed to do it, but I think I might. I wanted to speak on nipple piercings because I feel like nobody really talks about it that much, and I wanted to share my experience. Now let's move on to tattoos, because that is all the piercings that I have had or still have. I only have 2 tattoos. I'm not like super into tattoos, and I always get asked if I'm gonna get more. And I've been talking about it for like 5 years, but I haven't done it. And I think I will probably get 1, 2, or 3 more tattoos in my life, but I am in no rush to do it. I don't feel like I need them right now, but I'm definitely probably gonna get at least 1 more in my life, if not a few more. I did want to share my experience because, so I really rushed my tattoo decisions. Okay, so this is the story of me going to get my tattoos. So this was in 2015. I was a little bit emo at this time in my life. I had just had a boy basically like ghost me. I've been ghosted like 2 or 3 times in the last like year or 2 by guys, and I was getting pissed off. So I was kind of on this emotional ride of like this guy that doesn't even matter at all. He was so irrelevant. Basically I dyed my hair purple and got 2 tattoos in the same night, and I was dead sober. I just decided to do this. I do want to say, like, I thought about both of those decisions, dyeing my hair and getting my tattoos, before the night that I did it. It wasn't an impulse decision, but I you know, I was acting a little bit on like, let's just go out and like get some tattoos and dye my hair. So if you guys aren't familiar with my tattoos, I have this one that says I am happy, and then I have this arm one that says I believe in the good things coming. Okay, so we're gonna talk about both of these. I knew that I wanted to get a tattoo for a while, and I was like, it's time, let's do it. Me and my sister actually got our first tattoo matching on the same day. So that was kind of fun. We were kind of planning it together, and we were like, let's do it this week. So I think this tattoo was planned out for maybe like a week. But like I said, I knew that I wanted to get a tattoo beforehand for a while, for probably like a couple of years. I just didn't know when I was gonna do it or what I was gonna get. But leading up to that night, I went and dyed my hair purple, random, but at this time in my life, I dyed my hair all the time. I dyed it purple, pink, blue, all in the span of probably like 2 years. So it really wasn't shocking that I did this. That was kind of a normal thing for me to do at the time. And then getting the tattoos, I think it just ended up happening the same night. Like, it wasn't super planned out that all this stuff was gonna go down on the same evening. One thing I also regret is that I didn't do too much research, hardly at all, of before I went into the tattoo shop. I'm the type of person that does like to research things and really likes to know what she's doing before. Like, I always look at a restaurant on Yelp, and I look at the menu, and I look at the reviews, and I look at the ambiance before I go to a restaurant. So I did look up the tattoo shop on Yelp. I saw that there was good reviews. It was one of those like tattoo shops on Melrose. If you're familiar with LA, like there's several tattoo shops on Melrose, and this one, I think my friend had either said he had seen it or he had been to it. So I did kind of have like a little bit of a recommendation. So I was like, all right, this is the place that I'll go to. But I did not take those extra steps that you should take before you get a tattoo. In my opinion, you should take, of researching the artist and researching, you know, like the design and font. So obviously my 2 tattoos are just a font. And I didn't really think too much about the fonts that I wanted before I went. And I could have easily done that. I could have easily looked at a ton of fonts or done a handwriting type of a thing before I went to get my tattoos, because I knew that I wanted to get writing, and that is something that I regret not doing, because when I got there, I just looked at a font book that they gave me, or actually no, I didn't even look at a book. The artist, once me and Megan got there, was like, okay, well, why don't you like go on the internet and look up a bunch of different fonts and tell me what font you want. So we literally just like went on one of those websites where you could see a bunch of different fonts, and I picked, you know, pretty quickly for both of my tattoos. So as for my I am happy, I do like this font better. If you get really close, it looks like this says am, and sometimes people will be like, what does that say? And I'll be like, I am happy, and they'll look at it up close and they'll be like, the am looks a little off. which is not something that you want someone to say about your tattoo. With that being said, I get so many compliments on this tattoo. I'll be like talking to someone and they'll just see it because it's on the outside of my hand, and I do love this tattoo. I don't regret it. The only thing I regret about it is, like I said, rushing the decision of the font, because I think I could have had a font that doesn't look like this letter is bleeding. I do like the placement of it. I like the saying of it. I just regret not taking longer to pick out that perfect font. So this is my first one. Oh, and did I mention that I got these on the same exact night? I got both of my only tattoos that I have on the same night, back to back. And like I said, I was dead sober. Like, I just made this decision and was like, let's do it. I don't think I would go and do this at this time in my life. Like, I don't think I would go and get 2 tattoos in one night and dye my hair purple. So clearly this was a different phase in my life. Okay, so then let's talk about my other tattoo, because I have a lot of feelings about this tattoo. First of all, I absolutely love the quote. I love it so much. I believe in the good things coming is from one of my favorite songs of all time. It's called Black is Night by Nako and Medicine for the People. I know that's kind of a mouthful, but they're one of my favorite bands, and this is a line from that song. And I love the quote. Like, I am so happy that I have this tattooed on my body, but I do have a couple of regrets about this tattoo as well. The first regret I have about it is the same as this one. I wish I had thought about the font for a lot longer, and I wish that I had gotten a skinnier font, because this is really, really thick, and people a lot of times can't even tell what this says, and they'll have to ask me, which is, I guess, a normal thing. If you like get a word tattoo, people sometimes kind of be like, what does your tattoo say? Like, that's not a weird question. But I do wish that it was more clear. I do like how it's a script font, like a little cursive, but I wish I had, like I said, gotten a thinner, different font. So yeah, if I could give you guys one piece of advice, you guys probably would think about this more than my 20-year-old crazy self at the time, but just do more research on your artist, do more research. Obviously it didn't matter too much for me who the artist was that much, because they were just gonna do words. They weren't doing a specific design, so I obviously would have done a little bit more research in that case if I was getting a big piece or any type of artwork or design. But this was more just like a font that was on the internet that they were putting in black ink on my body, so it's kind of like most artists can do that pretty easily. But I would just say, yeah, if you're gonna get some words, think about if you wanted handwriting, think about if you wanted a specific text, think about it for a long time, because it's gonna be on your body forever. So that's what I have to say about this one. And the only other slight, not regret, but one weird thing about this tattoo is you have to hold your arm in a very specific way for it to look like it's straight. And he did put it on straight, but it's just the placement of this on the outer arm is a weird place to get a tattoo that has to be kind of like in line, because, you know, if I hold my arm like this, like, it doesn't look like it's in line. But if I hold my arm perfectly like that, it looks more like it's in line. So I kind of wish I had gotten this in a different place on my body, maybe like top of the shoulder, somewhere on my back. I'm not gonna get either of my tattoos removed. Like I said, I just should have thought more about the fonts of my tattoos. So I definitely wanted to be open and honest with you guys and just share genuinely how I feel, because I haven't really talked about these things before, and I'm hoping that it will be helpful to hear my experience from, you know, when I was 20 years old and I made these decisions kind of on a little bit of a whim, and 5 years later down the line, I wouldn't have made these same decisions on a whim. I would have just thought about it a lot more. With all this being said, when or if I do get any future tattoos, you know I'm about to research the hell out of those artists and just be a lot more planned out about my decision. So that is pretty much all I wanted to say. That is all the tattoos. I only have 2. Nothing super crazy. This isn't any Jeffree Star tattoo video. I think a lot of people might be able to relate to this, and just being young when you made those types of decisions, or making a little bit of a rush decision. And that's one thing that you might not think about too much when you're getting a tattoo. You might just think in the moment, this is really, really exactly what I want. I'm obsessed with this. But you don't necessarily think that much about, am I gonna love this placement and this text and this saying when I'm a lot older. So this was a long video, just like all of my sit down videos, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give it a thumbs up if you appreciated this video and if you appreciated my honesty and if it was just entertaining or helpful or whatever. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye.